But now to the devastating news that Graham Richardson passed away on the weekend, aged 76. He was part of the show here on Every Wednesday with Michael Kroger. And each week he'd bring his wit, intellect, strong opinions and often humour. Even though he was long retired, he was still pulling the strings from behind the scenes. Just one example, Richo tried to roll Bill Shorten and replace him with Albanese just 4 months before the 2016 federal election. I confronted Richo about this on live television, no less, just 1 week on the show, and here's what happened. Cameron Milner writes that sitting down at Richo's local harbourside restaurant, Catalina, Richo opined that Bill has 2 news polls left. When he falls short, he can resign for Albo or we'll blast him out. With the message delivered, Richo then encouraged me to order entree and main and proceeded to tell me what a talent Scott Morrison was. I have to say, Richo, that does sound like you. You've taken me to Catalina before. But on a serious note, Graham Richardson, is this true? Did you threaten to roll Bill Shorten for Albo?
That certainly doesn't sound like me. So I think as I kept hearing in America once upon a time, I just don't recall that.
So you're genuinely denying this because this is, a story that would go down in the history books. 4 months out from the election, did you say that Bill Shorten had 2 news polls left?
I don't recall.
You did think that Albanese should replace Shorten? That's true.
Yeah, that's true. I certainly had that view for quite a long time.
And you may have made that threat to Cameron Milner, Shorten's chief of staff, at Catalina.
Well, it's possible.
You remember the lunch? You took him for lunch there?
No, I don't particularly remember the lunch. I've had so many at Catalina, it's hard to remember them.
It's a wonder Richo turned up on the show week after week with interrogations like that, but he did and he loved it. And Richo had rock-solid Labor values. And this means that when Albanese and Penny Wong got it wrong, as they often did, he called them out.
I think Australia has dropped the ball on Israel in the Middle East and the Palestinian territories. I think we're handling it pretty poorly. And I think at some stage of the game, we've just got to stand up and admit who our mates are, who have got to be looked after, and who are the people who would rather kill us than look after us. Well, I think she's doing a great job as Foreign Minister, with one exception. You can think that. That's legitimate.
Which is the Middle East.
I bet she hasn't been to lunch with you at Catalina's, Richo.
No, she hasn't.
And sometimes he'd even disclose when current cabinet ministers were fed up with the Albanese government's decisions. Clearly, not all cabinet ministers are happy about that decision. Now,
that's for sure.
Are you hearing that as well, Richo?
Yes, I am.
So you've spoken to cabinet ministers who are disappointed with this decision?
I have indeed.
Do you want to name names?
No, I don't think that'd be exactly. It wouldn't be good for my future, let alone theirs.
And his political predictions were pretty much always right. 6 months before the Voice referendum, he said it wouldn't get up and wasn't needed. You're not going to support the Voice to Parliament. Why?
Well, I can't see the need for it. I can't see what it will accomplish. As far as I'm concerned, there's no need for anyone to have this so-called voice to the Parliament. Our voice is our vote.
And when the polls were neck and neck before the last election, Richo often said that Albanese would win in his own right and he'd govern with a majority. And Richo was also critical about Susan Lee when she became leader.
If I can use a terrible swear word, this whole
Let's not swear on live television, not actually swear on live television. They'll have to beep us out.
You can handle it. It's arse up. That's the problem with it.
Okay. I can handle that. That's all right.
Yeah, that's as far as I'm going, but that's what it is. They just turn things upside down, and it looks wrong. And if it looks wrong, you're never going to fix it. Things are hard enough in politics if they look perfect.
Richo had a great sense of humour and many witty lines. When he wrote about the Barnaby Joyce scandal back in 2018, he said, "Affairs are common in Canberra, where politicians and staff members spend so much time away from home. Whoever came up with the phrase, absence makes the heart grow fonder, was an idiot. In my experience, absence makes the heart wonder." Richo was a Labor man through and through, but he did vote for Dave Sharma and not the Teals at the 2019 election. He had many friends from across the political aisle. Famous for his lunches, over a few drinks, he'd tell juicy inside stories that you were sworn never to repeat. I remember hearing tales about Bob Hawke's womanising, drinking and other shenanigans, including one story about sneaking Hawke out the back of a pub after he'd had a dalliance with a well-known lady. But there are some stories that Richo never told. There are secrets he takes to his grave. The truth about the fire at Offset Alpine in 1993, where the payout came in at over $50 million, and whether he knew anything about the death of Caroline Byrne, whose boyfriend Gordon Wood tried to use Richo as part of his alibi. Now, Australia will miss Richo, and of course, viewers of this program in particular will miss him every Wednesday. Even as his body was failing him, Richo turned up here week after week. He made the most of life, contributing to public debate and enjoying his lunches until the very end.